Welcome to Feeling Seen with Dean, the show where real confidence starts on the inside. Hosted by Dean Michael. Let's get into it.
You're not tired. You're just waking up wrong. I used to stay up all night scrolling. I would wake up rushed and wonder why I never felt ahead, no matter how motivated I was. Then I changed 3 things about my morning, nothing extreme, and they completely rewired how I think, how I train, and how I show up for myself every day. If you want to wake up clearer, focused, and operating like the top 1%, then you need to ask yourself these questions every morning. These aren't hacks. These are identity shifts. Question 1, are you sabotaging your mornings from the night before? Question 2, who controls your mind in the first 20 minutes of every day? Question 3, are you designing your life or are you reacting to it? It was in asking myself these 3 questions every morning I found the biggest identity shift within myself and the most discipline I've ever seen myself for the 32 years I've been alive. Let's start with question 1. Are you sabotaging your mornings from the night before? I'll reword and rephrase that for you. Let's think of this as, what if going to bed is actually the fastest way to win your mornings and your life? I'll make this make sense. I'll use myself as the example. The older version of me, for a long time, believed I was a night person. I operated best when everyone was sleeping. But if I'm being real with you, friend, I just love being overstimulated. I needed that constant dopamine rush all night. So I would stay up late, telling myself I deserve this. Oh, this is me. But I would always wake up exhausted and I would be more reactive than usual and always behind. But once I started rewiring my mind into, I have to do better for myself with my nights and my mornings, that's where I saw the change. So the version of me now prioritizes going to bed at 8:30 p.m. Subsequently, from me going to bed earlier, I'm noticing I'm waking up around 4:30 a.m. So waking up earlier means now I'm able to go to the gym earlier in the morning and be more intentional with the time I'm putting into myself. So by me prioritizing my nights, my mornings, and being more intentional, I feel as if I am starting every day winning, which leads to me having an identity shift. And building on my identity shift, I feel that I'm starting to finally see discipline within myself. I can tell you now, discipline is hard. We all want to be the person that stands out for doing the right thing or the consistent thing all the time. But guaranteed, motivation is not discipline. Being motivated to do something does not mean you're disciplined. Consistency leads to discipline. Constantly showing up and doing that thing you know you don't want to do, don't enjoy doing, but have to do, that is what's creating the discipline. So by me prioritizing, I need to get some sleep and I need to get up, it's showing me every time I do that, I'm putting a deposit into my personal bank account of trusting and believing in myself and my personal bank account of discipline. And after so many coins of discipline, eventually my bank will start overflowing, but that's not what I'm worried about now. I want to focus on getting to that place of overflow. So the discipline just becomes not natural, but more instinctual. Here's the real shift. Going to bed early did not just give me more energy, it taught me respect. I respect my mornings now. I'm grateful for my mornings. I'm appreciative that I can wake up. I say a prayer of gratitude every morning because I'm thankful that I was able to get the time to rest. And now I get the time to grind and show me what I can do for me in the morning through that consistency, discipline, and the respect. Always remember, those elite that we admire and want to be like, go look up what their morning routine is, because I can guarantee their putting the work in when we're not looking. That's why we admire them. Question number 2. Who controls your mind in the first 20 minutes of your day? Let's rephrase that again. Who are you letting think for the first 20 minutes of your day? Either your phone or your inner voice. To make that make sense, there's something called decision fatigue. Studies have shown throughout the day, our quality of decision making goes down because our brain has a limited amount of mental energy. This explains why judges will give harsher rulings later in the day, and also why most individuals make the worst financial and food decisions later in the evening towards the night. Since I love using myself as the example, what I would notice with the older version of me is if I grab my phone first thing when I wake up, then within the first hour, I've more than likely bought 2 things on Amazon Prime that I probably don't need. And now I'm online shopping for a backpack or just something irrelevant because I did not choose intention. I chose convenience. But when you wake up needing that constant stimulus because it's the first thing you fed yourself, then it gets hard all day because you need to constantly be entertained. And I constantly needed a stimulus or dopamine rush to feel alive. And the scary part is I wouldn't listen to my inner voice. So that inner voice that maybe felt in the morning, go work out. I'll go buy a nice workout outfit on Amazon Prime, but I'm not going to go hit the gym. It's too early for that, right? So prioritizing my inner voice and being more intentional with not grabbing my phone is what made the difference. The new version of me does not grab my phone until at least 7:30 or 8 a.m. So to tie into the first point or first question, I'm up early in the morning. I spend my first 15 to 20 minutes intentional, filtering my thoughts. From there, I'm going to go to the gym, spend about an hour and a half in the morning being intentional, right? Putting the exercise into myself, not to look a certain way, but to mentally and physically feel a certain way, as well as I prioritize reading in my mornings. So the point I want to really get across is be intentional when you wake up. I'm not saying don't grab your phone. If it's an emergency, do what needs to be done. This is life. We can't control what happens. But if we can have the control in the morning, I want you to start prioritizing. Do not grab your phone right away. Wake up. Take a second. Box breathe. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. Filter through your thoughts. What's the priorities for you today versus yesterday? Or tomorrow? What is it that you said you really wanted to do this week that you keep putting off, right? When I started rewiring my mornings and saying, I'm not going to let external noise control me, I'm going to listen to my internal voice, that is where I started to see the true discipline within myself. If I could give you some words or a cause and effect, I want you to think of the mornings. If you have a notebook, write this down. We're going to say morning =, highest mental clarity. So in the mornings, when you wake up, you're at your optimal best when it comes to thinking, feeling, and decision making. I want you to write underneath mornings, phone =, external noise. By waking up and grabbing your phone first thing, you're allowing everyone outside of your home, where you live, to play a part in influencing your morning, versus you being the influencer in your morning. And last point I want you to write underneath. So we have morning, then we have phone, and then I want you to write underneath phone inner voice, and then put = decision maker to listen to all day. And what's great is this is what I call the pyramid of elite thinking. We have our mornings, we have the external noise, and we have the internal noise. So please, something I had to really struggle with, and I really would love for you all to try, taking the time in your morning and filtering through your thoughts and not allowing so much external noise within the first 20 to 30 minutes of your morning. Please leave a comment and let me know what success were you able to find or difference within your day by taking a few minutes and getting in touch with your feelings. What's important for you? Also, if you're enjoying this podcast style comment, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, because we are here every week focusing on being the best version of ourselves. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to be better. Remember, 1% every day is always going to go longer than 10% sporadically. Point to tie into the second question. Would you rather give your best mental clarity every morning to yourself, or would you rather give the best mental clarity to notifications, headlines, and other people's priorities? That quiet voice that you hear on the inside in the morning, that's your inner voice. You listen to it, you'll notice some change. You don't listen to it, you'll feel the chaos. And I don't know about you, but when I feel off, it sometimes takes me longer than a day to restructure myself. So prioritizing my peace is the number one obligation. And this brings me right into question 3. Are you designing your life or reacting to it? I'm going to give you all a gist of how my mornings go, right? We prioritize bed. We prioritize getting up. We take the first 20 to 30 minutes and filter through our thoughts. And then this is where this point comes in crucial. I'll rephrase the question for you as well, kind of how we done prior. If you don't decide your priorities in the morning, who or what will end up deciding them for you? So in my mornings, after I take the time needed to filter my thoughts, after I do the gym, even when I'm in the gym, I believe I'm going to put in 30 minutes every morning for cardio for myself. But while I'm putting in that 30 minutes, I like to read a book. It seems strange. I spend 30 minutes of reading as mental nutrition. Just like we have to feed our bodies, we have to keep feeding our minds. And that single habit has elevated my vocabulary, my thinking, and the way I see problems. To keep you all moving through my morning, after I finish the gym, this is where I take the time and make sure I'm deciding my priorities today versus letting anyone come into my day and have the influence on what I should be doing. And to make sure I keep myself aligned, I have planners. I've actually got all my planners on the counter too. So it sounds excessive, but I have got 4. I take that back. I've got 5 planners. This is one for my house. I prioritize my meal prep, what we're going to be cooking for the week. This planner is for finances. I believe that it's important that we know where we're putting our money as far as subscriptions, where we're putting our money for fun. It's nice to see where your money is going. I've got a planner at my house for house events, whether that be technician appointments. So that's 3 planners so far to show you, just finances, meal prep, and house task and chores. The next planner I have is my content planner. And this one is for all of you. This is so I can make sure I'm not only staying on task, but I can see what I would like to create and what I feel will resonate the most with you all. So I keep that planner so this vibe stays as it is. And the last planner, of course, I forgot, is the one in my backpack, which is just a mini small planner, which is just immediately what I have going on day by day. I'm not here to say I'm the most prepared, I'm the most planned, you need to be like me. No, I'm here to say I was a hot mess all over the place and constantly behind until I took some initiative to say, okay, I feel that I have no control over what's going on in my life. I don't even know when my next haircut or doctor's appointment is, right? Once I started designing the life I wanted, having these planners has made me so effective because I'm able to prioritize what's needed by constantly taking the time every morning to filter my thoughts. First, I'm going to be intentional with how I go to bed, right? And how I wake up. Next, I'm intentional with my first 20 to 30 minutes of my morning, filtering my thoughts. I'm not allowing any external influences to come in and change the direction of where I would like to go for the day. And thirdly, I like having these organizational tools because having these tools are keeping me on track and it's making me more disciplined. So I recommend in designing the life you want, start prioritizing organization, having a planner, journaling. Some mornings, if my planner is very up to date, I'll journal for that time. Or I'll read. I'll read at the gym, as I told you, but I'll come home and read some more. This year with reading, I've learned I'm reading for me. I want to find books that resonate with the journey I'm currently on. So a lot of the books I have been reading are all mindset related, how I can keep elevating myself to be better. What I can say about this version of me that I am continuing to become and want to embody all the time is taking that 20 to 30 minutes of intentional direction. What would I like to do for myself? What would I like to do for you all? What would I like to do for my patients? And being intentional with my time has fully shifted my identity. Remember, it's not about being busy or being productive. You're designing your life. So don't forget, you need mental nutrition. A lot of others wonder why they feel stuck but are mentally starved. So to bring everything together for you, sleeping early will lead to physical and mental readiness at your most optimal time in the morning. Not grabbing that phone first thing in the morning will lead to mental clarity and better decisions. And taking the time in the morning to plan your day and read, which will provide mental nutrition, will lead to direction, growth, and having the long-term edge over others. So let me ask you this again. Are you sabotaging your mornings the night before? Who controls your mind when the day begins? And are you designing your life or reacting to it? If this way of thinking resonates with you, this podcast is for people who want to live intentionally, not accidentally. So give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, not for motivation, but for clarity, discipline, and becoming the best version of yourself, one morning at a time. So if we ask ourselves again, how do the 1% start their morning? I can tell you, the 1% do not wake up lucky. They wake up prepared. Today, let's start preparing because you owe it to the future version of yourself. And I'm here to watch you blossom into that person. You all are a blessing, and I'll see you in the next podcast.
Thanks for listening to Feeling Seen with Dean, the space where self-worth gets real and growth begins within. If today's episode inspired you, lifted you up, or helped you see yourself a little more clearly, make sure to follow the show and share it with someone who needs a reminder of their own inner strength. Until next time, stand tall, stay true, and keep feeling seen. Feeling Seen with Dean, empowering you from the inside out.